I rise to join my colleagues in support of ACR 56 to remember the Holocaust, all of the victims. I'm amazed to stand with you 9 years in to being with many of you here in the Assembly, and that we've marked a Holocaust Remembrance Day together, and that we've evolved through the pandemic to do this in what I believe is just an extraordinarily powerful and meaningful way to connect each of us to a person who was murdered by the Nazis. It's easy to think about the 6 million Jews, the 11 million murdered innocent people, that we can be overwhelmed by those numbers. And to learn the identities, to see into the innocent smiles, the joyful faces, or the eyes that are in horror in some of the shots of prisoners, whether it be a Polish Olympian, toddlers standing together, or in my case, a 14-year-old boy whose name deserves to be read, Giza Steingeiser from Hungary, who was born on my birthday in 1930 and was murdered after his 14th birthday in 1944 in the gas chamber at Auschwitz. And like my colleague from Woodland Hills, I can't stop but think about my own 14-year-old son who celebrated his bar mitzvah last year and what that was like. And as I was thumbing through this book, and please do just read a few of these stories and look into the eyes of some of the victims, that you learn a little bit about each person's humanity. And there's very little about this, but there was another 14-year-old boy. He was a Czech boy born on the 4th of September 1930, named Franta Bass. And permission to read, Madam Speaker?
Without objection.
Thank you. And he was deported to Theresienstadt ghetto in December of 1941, and he wrote a poem while he was there in that ghetto. He was murdered in October of 1944, but before he was transported to Auschwitz, he wrote this poem at Theresienstadt, and he titled it The Garden. The garden, a little garden, fragrant and full of roses. The path is narrow, and a little boy walks along it. A little boy, a sweet boy, like that growing blossom. When the blossom comes to bloom, the little boy will be no more. He knew before he was transferred to Auschwitz what was going to happen to him. And so many people around the world knew. I just want to say thank you for helping us remember him.